Happy, beautiful day. Today's going to be a different style of podcast. I wanted to do a refresher episode where you guys have the opportunity to listen to 10 podcasts, but listen to the professionals' non-negotiables. I want to share them with you because they're everyday tips that will help you improve your health, and we want to make sure that you do these tips every day. And I thought it'd be a great episode for all of you to be able to listen to and make sure that you practice these tips. I like to really hammer home in June the basics, because you want to make sure that you're following the basics in the month of June as you enter into the summer months, as things start to get a little bit more hectic with different schedules and vacations. So please make sure you have a listen. If you could do me a small favor, if you could just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, it really benefits us to help get people more information on everyday health tips that can improve their health. So if you have a moment, just go like or subscribe to our YouTube channel. I would really appreciate your support, and I appreciate you helping us grow our show to get more information out there. Have a wonderful day. What are 3 non-negotiables that you do for your health on a daily basis?
3 non-negotiables.
Every day you do them, whether you're in Mexico, you're sick, bad day, good day, kids were up all night with you. But what are those 3 things that no matter what you do every day?
Well, definitely like eating my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And sometimes when you're away, it's not going to be always exactly the way it'll be, but always making sure to find a way to have protein at my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I always have water with me. That's a non-negotiable. And doing something for myself. So whether it's in the morning or at night or during the day, always carving out some time. Either it's like a 5-minute meditation, a 10-minute walk, just doing some deep breathing. So always taking a bit of time to like connect with and kind of ground myself. I always make sure that's like happening every single day. And sometimes the kids are running around doing crazy stuff, and I'm like, Mommy, I'll just lie in my bed for 5 minutes and take 5 deep breaths, you know?
It's important that, so you do your 5 to 10 minute of just self-check-in of like, where am I? What's going on today? Let me breathe, and then let's go to work.
Yeah,
that's great.
I journal before bed sometimes. Like it looks different, but I always somehow find a way to make that happen.
And I think that's good to hear because, again, a lot of people think, well, I just don't have time to do this. I don't have time for that. Well, meditation doesn't have to be sitting there and going, It could be just going for a walk by yourself.
Yeah.
Or it could be, like you said, closing the TV or the phone 10 minutes before you're going to bed. Just shut it off and just go lie down in bed and breathe.
Yes.
Or go for a walk. Or it could be journaling. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day. It's just wherever you are that day, you can do something. It could be while you're driving, just shut the music off and drive and nose breathe, right?
Yes.
Little things that impact the parasympathetic nervous system to help you just feel calmer more about your day. I love this. This is like, because you're doing the real deal. You're coaching other people and you're doing it yourself. Even my clients, like, how do you do what you do? I'm like, I just kind of squeeze it in, right? Like I park my car far from my front door. It's like 20, it's 10 more steps. But I said, over the year, if I go to my car 4 times a day, that's an extra 40 steps a day. And then I'll keep that up at the mall. I'll keep that up at the other place. And the next thing you know, you've got it. So all these little things kind of impact our health long term.
It really does.
What are 3 non-negotiables that you personally do every day, wherever you are in the world? What is the 3 non-negotiables for Melissa?
Well, it's coffee.
That's good. I like that people think that coffee is bad. I'm like, who told you coffee is bad? Right? 1 to 2 cups a day is great.
1 to 2 cups a day, potent antioxidants, and we're not putting a bunch of garbage in it. We're just having good quality black coffee. And I say that because my coffee preparation is my opportunity to do what I call the G3. So the grateful 3. My 1 non-negotiable, either in the morning or on my walk, is I just ask myself right now, what am I truly grateful for? And right now, not what happened to me last week, in this very moment. So I always ask that. Sometimes it's something really big. Sometimes it's something as simple as the sun is shining and I can feel warmth on my face. G3 with my coffee, non-negotiable. Definitely trying to get in nature in some form or fashion. That's super easy. Like you said, even if it's at 9 p.m. and you are in the neighborhood and it's quiet and it's just a moment for yourself. So good. And then I have to kind of go back to the protein piece, because I know I'm off my game if I haven't been there and had enough protein. It really truly is. And I've seen the difference in my strength, in my mood, in my quality of sleep when that's not dialed in. That would also be my last non-negotiable.
It's interesting. Every professional we brought on, it's always the same: movement, protein, sleep, water. Like there's always 1 or 2, but There seems to be a constant theme of protein and movement outside every day because that's what keeps them balanced. So that's amazing. What are 3 things that you do for your health every day that are non-negotiables for you to feel the utmost best?
I love movement.
Yeah.
I have to do some form of movement. I either walk to work. I put a lot less stress on my body, like my mind these days, that it doesn't have to always be an intense workout. It doesn't always have to be, something structured, just movement in general. So if I'm walking to work, taking the stairs at work, just doing something with my son, that any type of movement is a win in my part, and it has to be something I do daily. Secondly is obviously getting my protein in. I know if I'm not eating adequate protein, I don't feel optimally. And actually it can change my mood as well. I have more energy. I just feel a lot better with protein. And my third thing is gratitude. I always have to wake up and have gratitude with my husband, with my son, and just with life in general, because I always believe that any health marker starts in the brain, right? When we have that positive mindset, appreciation, and just gratitude for life, it sets us up for success with whatever life throws at us.
Charles always used to talk about that gratitude. And I was always like, what is he talking about? I'm like, this guy's the biggest meathead in the world. And, it's probably in the last year or so I've started practicing it. And I always say to people, life just becomes easier.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. What are 3 things that you do for your health that are non-negotiables on a daily basis?
Again, first and foremost, I will always say sleep. You talk to my husband, you don't want to be around me if I don't have good sleep. It's the biggest one for me. I'm really good at going to bed at the same time every day, waking up at the same time every day. Of course, I deviate from that a little bit. I do have a social life, and for the most part, it's sleep, and I really focus on that because then I know that I'm going to get out and exercise the next day. I know I'm going to feel better. I know I'm not going to be reaching for carbohydrates because I'm tired. So sleep, secondly, I would say moving my body every day, doing something active. I do have a desk job. I typically am sitting and seeing clients. And so whether it's getting to the gym and doing a workout, going outside and walking my dog. This morning, I did 20 minutes of yoga before I came in. Something. It always makes me feel better mentally, and it gives me more energy. And then lastly, I would say I do need to meal prep. So I do that maybe not every single day, but multiple times per week, because I know that if I don't do that, I'm going to be rushed in the morning and I'm going to come to the office and I'm not going to have a lunch or snacks packed. And then that's when I'm going to be more likely to eat out. Meal prep is super important for me.
Awesome. That's great. I love hearing those because we've had so many health professionals on and they've all said the same thing. They focus on their sleep. They try to get enough protein. They try to get enough whole food, and they just move their body, whether it's 20 minutes of yoga or lifting, running. It's just they don't give that as a zero. They don't want a zero for their movement. What are 3 things for your health that you do every day?
First would be movement. I move every day. And when I say movement, and this is something I teach as well too, we should be moving every day. Our bodies are meant to be in motion. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and lifting weights. Yes, we need to do at least 3 days of strength training. But aside from that, outside of the gym, we need to be moving more. So that could be walking, hiking, even jumping on a piece of cardio equipment if, with the weather conditions, that type of thing up here in Canada. So daily walking is really, really important. It's a non-negotiable for me. It's not only beneficial physically, but obviously mentally, it's huge for me. It's my way just to kind of clear my brain, to kind of reset things. For a lot of my thoughts can kind of, stir up and think of new ideas for my business or work through certain solutions, that type of thing. It's my time, preferably in nature. And my other non-negotiable is my nutrition. That's always a priority for me. I do eat. Don't get me wrong. I go out to restaurants. I love a glass of wine. Those things are all important to me as well. But my nutrition in terms of how I fuel my body and support my body is really, really important, because I find as I get older, I really listen to my body. I've always kind of naturally done that, listening to my body, what works, what doesn't. And I find my nutrition when I'm eating, 80-90% bang on, meaning getting my foods from, nutrient dense foods and making sure I get enough protein. I feel my best. I have more energy. I sleep better. I have more mental clarity. I don't have the aches and pains, because when we're eating those highly processed foods, we have more inflammation in our body. And that's where we start feeling pain in maybe our wrists or our knees or our hips or our back, right? headaches can come on, right? So nutrition for me is super, super important for the body, for my hormones, obviously maintaining my muscle. The last one is sleep. It's huge. It's like, I'm so critical about it. Quality sleep, 7 to 8 hours a night in a cool, dark room, no distractions. I keep my phone in the kitchen. I don't have any lights on in the bedroom other than like a salt lamp. So I'm very, very, very specific about that. And I find those three things really make me feel my best and my optimal best.
What are three things that you do for your health every day that are non-negotiables that you do no matter what? Good day, bad day. You traveled. I know that we were connected from our media guy, like you traveled to Florida. What are three things that you do for your health every day that you non-negotiable, you do it?
Oh, I have to move. I am very pedantic with my training. I block out training in my schedule so that nobody can touch it, because I'm not the only one with access to my calendar. Things will get put in there. Meetings will get put in there. You do not touch that time that is blocked off. If I don't get to the gym, it's also part of my brand, right? I have to look a certain way to do what I do. And it's also for my mental health. That's a non-negotiable. Granted, if I travel and I have to switch days around, that's totally fine. But there's always a way to get out activities. When I was at the event where I met Frank, I got up at 5 every day to be able to hit the gym, because we went from 9 to like 9 p.m. both days. So those are obviously really long days, and sleep kind of takes a hit, but that's okay. It's the discipline and knowing that, hey, if you have a couple days of bad sleep, it's okay. You won't die. You can still go to the gym, even though the sleep is crappy on your Oura ring or whatever. It's still about the repetition and the discipline that you're showing. Those are non-negotiables for me. When I travel, I look at where I'm training, where I can fit that in. And then with food too, I utilize food delivery services, Instacart or Uber Eats or something, to make sure that I can take care of all of that. But if I don't get outside every day, like it's been raining here in Florida the last few days, it's been miserable. But yesterday it poured rain all day long. And I was just like, you know what? I'm supposed to do sprints today. I'm not going to do them. I could have gone on my assault bike in the garage. I just didn't want to. Finally, at 6 p.m., the rain let up and I was like, all right, it's 6 p.m. I didn't get to bed till 11 because I get wired if I train after like 5, but I got it done. That's all that matters.
So movement is number one. Organizing your food, I guess, is number two. And and then getting outside is your number three?
Yeah, or getting to bed at like a good time, right? I don't socialize very late anymore, unless it's like a special occasion or something. Like I get made fun of because I've said on videos before, like I don't go to dinner past 7 p.m. And I don't know anybody that enjoys going out to dinner at like 7:30, 8 p.m. because you know that shit's not ending till like 10. And then it's like you need time to decompress. I'm big on like 5 p.m. Like my husband and I will make reservations for 5 or 5:30, because then we get home, we can walk with the dog for an hour or so and then chill. And then go to bed. It doesn't have to be this. You get home at 11, you're full, and then it's just, So
you and my wife would get along great, because she is like, why are we eating dinner? And she's like 5 o'clock, and I'm Indian, right? If you know anything about Indian culture, it's if you say invite people over for 6 or 7 o'clock, everybody shows up at 8 o'clock and we eat at 10 p.m. and everybody's over. So it's always this debate of like, why are we eating dinner at 5 o'clock? Like, that's why when you say that, I'm like, oh, my wife Melissa would love that. She's big into that. What are three things as a mom, an entrepreneur, you gave us your age, you do every day for your health that is non-negotiable?
Yeah. Number one for sure is eating in a very healthy way, making healthy choices, especially like heavy on like fruits and lean proteins and whole grains and things like that. I've adopted into my lifestyle. I mean, Harry, that in a large part is thanks to you and the work that we were doing, but they have given me results, not like even in terms of weight loss as much, although that was certainly a byproduct of doing that and continues to be, but it just gives you energy. It gives you you the energy to continue with your day, starting at the very earliest part of the day. Healthy eating, number one, focus on that for all of my meals and all of my snacks. Exercise and movement, number two, I start off every day with either a strength class or going for a run. And on the weekends, I mean, this winter has been strange, but I've been trying to get out and like snowshoe, ski. Actually, I didn't go skiing this year, but skating, hiking. In the summer, it's bike riding and hiking. Also incorporating the movement throughout the day. So yes, although I start my day like that, in between meetings, because I do a lot of my work virtually, I'm standing up, I'm walking around the house or getting out for a walk, like at lunch or anything like that. Those are definitely non-negotiable. They're important to my physical health, but they're important to my mental health as well. And I'd say the third one is, kind of continuing along with what we were talking about with reflection before. It's taking some quiet time for myself, whether it's in meditation, and I use the Calm app, but there's others that are free, like Insight Timer for people that don't want to pay a fee. But it just encourages that quiet, still time, or even taking a mindful moment. I lead group coaching circles as well as part of the work that I do on the leadership side of things. And before we start our group session, I'll do a mindfulness moment. And it's literally like a minute or 2 minutes that involves some kind of breath work and some kind of reflection as well, and combine the two. And I find those 3 habits are what just gives me my energy and certainly gets me through my day as well.
Well, I like when you said the 3 non-negotiable, because that's exactly what I have told myself, and I tell my clients that I do every single day, and it has been non-negotiable for the last 1.5 years, and it's completely changed my life. I have built a morning routine. I call it my me time, my miracle morning time, and I spend it's my awareness, mindfulness time. It is so crucial, especially in our busy society. It's not only to protect my health, but it's to improve my health, improve my emotional well-being and my mindset. I take always up to 20 minutes where I do some meditation. There's different types. I've started with guided ones. It was very helpful because it can be sometimes challenging if you're not used to being in this still moment and not move or think. And I journal. That is now my new best friend because it brings me so much awareness. And I move my body. So whether it is yoga, Pilates, strength training, my Peloton spin bike, it doesn't matter. I move. Those are my 3 things. It has been non-negotiable, and it's completely changed my life. And it's to a point where I now, when I feel a sensation in my body, whether it's pain or tightness or numbness or whatever it is, instead of my old self where I'd be like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I'm like, okay, what is going on right now? What am I feeling? And 100% of the time, it's a stress emotion, whether it is worry, about the future, worry about something, stress, frustration. It's emotionally based. So it completely keeps me calm, and I feel empowered and completely in control of my health. So when I'm aware of what's going on, then I actually will give myself, I don't find it externally, I give it to myself, whatever I need, whether it's self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-love, whatever it is, I give it to myself and I work through that, and it completely changes everything.
What are 3 non-negotiable things that you do for your health as a 43-year-old mom, like an athlete that trains and who works 30 hours a week with their body, right? That I think some people say, oh, it's only 30 hours a week.
No.
People don't realize being in the gym, training a client with the transference of energy, the mental, like the mental that they come in with, that you have to then spin them into a good mood if they come into a bad mood. Then the lifting of the weights, the reps that you do with them. And if they're having an off day, you might do 3 workouts in a day, be like, yo, I got this with you. Let's do it. Let's crush it out. So what are 3 non-negotiables that you do for your health every day across the board? What are 3 simple things?
So since becoming a mom, my son is 6. I had a C-section delivery. So that was an unplanned recovery. The number one thing, Harry, and I know you're not going to be surprised, is rest and recovery. Okay. Rest and recovery is the most important aspect of my entire regiment. If I'm not rested, I'm going to have a poor appetite. I'm going to eat things.
I'm just going to stop you there for 1 sec. What does that mean? Because See, everybody talks about rest and recovery, but someone might say, well, I drank 3 glasses of wine and that's recovery for me. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's why I say, what does it mean to Erica to mean I am actually going to rest and recover? What does that mean?
So one, managing my calendar and not saying yes to too many things. That's the first part. I need to go to bed at the same time. Most nights, you know, if it's like between 9 and 10, it's sort of that 9 o'clock. So I have my cut off for food, cut off for tech, cut off for bedtime. So I try to manage that. So say like between 9 and 10, I'm in bed. Last night it was 8:30, which was amazing because I was really needing it. I wake up about the same time every day, sometimes around 5:30 or 6, sometimes 6:30, like in that kind of window. I can also sleep anywhere, anytime. So I love to nap. I often will take a 30-minute nap midday, especially because, you know, charging up for that evening client to roster and making sure that all of that gets synced up with daylight. So I'm really trying hard to, you know, see the sunrise or get daylight before I eat my breakfast and make sure that the tech use is downgrading before I have my settle down time to go to bed, you know, at least an hour before bed with no technology, using red lights or using low lighting, not overhead lighting. Like all of those things really help me unwind, right? Because the technology is that artificial light that's keeping us awake at night and making it hard to turn off the TV or the phones or.
So number one, you're saying is you make sure that you sleep at the same time and you wake up at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm getting
So
between 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep is sort of anything less than 7 is bad news for me. So that's a very big priority.
Then number two is you try to keep your circadian rhythm in sync, right?
Mhm.
So meaning when the sun is up, you're eating a lot more food, you're outside more, you're trying to get that sunlight on you. And then
Exactly.
as the night goes down, as the evening goes, you get off tech, you eat less food. So, which is good. Okay. So, that's number two. What's the second thing? So that's rest and recovery for you.
Rest and recovery.
And then what's number two?
Having the protein breakfast, that's critical. I have to have a huge breakfast. I never skip breakfast. I'll often skip lunch because I just don't need to eat midday, or I'll have that's when I'll have fruit or I'll have a little snack. If I have some homemade baked goods, I like to have that with my coffee. That might be pre-workout, right? I'm at my break. I need some energy, a little bit of a boost to go hit the weights. So I'll do that. And then usually, again, protein-led dinner, but it's going to be smaller than my breakfast. So it sort of tapers off, right? Front and load the day with all the calories or all the food energy I need. And then as we get to the end of the day, it's more just to enjoy that extra serving, make sure I've gotten enough. I don't count calories, but I'm counting portions and servings. So to make sure that I got enough of what I need for the day.
What are 3 things that are non-negotiables for Connie on a daily basis when it comes to her health? What are 3 things that, you know, and it could be something simple, but what are the 3 things that you will never let get away from your day in terms of your health?
Movement for sure. So I love daily walks outdoors, you know, whether it's 30 or 40 minutes, doesn't have to be that long, but for sure, daily walks outdoors. If it's not a daily walk outdoors, it is strength training. So I personally like to train 3 times a week and then walk at least 5 days a week. You know, sometimes I'll just do my strength training. So definitely movement is number 1. 2 is protein at every meal. So that is a non-negotiable. I have to, you know, my breakfast has protein, my lunch has protein, my snack has protein, my dinner has protein, all of it. And then water is probably the third. There's more than 3, right? But I think those are probably the top 3.
And I think that we want to hit those 3 things because, you know, if I ask 10 different health professionals, they're going to say 3 things that are maybe the same or separate. But if you have 30 of them and 15 of them the same, those are the things that we everyday people have to really say, these are the 3 things that that we have to make sure that we're doing. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this refresher episode on all the non-negotiables, and it really hits home that you really just have to do the basics every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. You squeeze it in where you can, and that's what's going to benefit your health the most. Consistency wins all ball games. So if you can, again, like and share this episode so that we can make sure that we keep getting out all this wonderful information to everybody who needs the support to optimize their health journey. Thank you so much for listening and have an amazing day.